Hey, what the heck is this?
Did you work with Stu on this model, or is this something that he presented to you guys and started working with it, or
Yeah, look, Stu's
or
been doing the Twinser thing for decades. He's kind of the guru when it comes to Twinsers. He's been doing it for decades. He has so much knowledge and so much time spent making these style of boards. So he gave me one back when we started working on the Singleton. And he was like, "Hey man, try this thing." I was like, "Okay, look, I'm totally open-minded when it comes to surfboard design." And I was just like, "Yeah, dude, I'll take it with me to Australia and test it out on some point breaks and see how it feels." And immediately I was hooked on the feel of the fin setup.
when
It
was
was
it?
just this was 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years
Okay.
ago. At very first surf, I was just like, man, there's something about this fin setup. It feels like a twin fin skatey loose feel, but I have drive and control over it. I don't feel like I'm washing out on bottom turns or, chirping on backside. Like even going left, it feels good, which normally twin fins backside are pretty difficult. This doesn't have that feel. It feels like almost like a thruster or something. You have plenty of to push off of and plenty of engagement on the rail. It just felt really nice. So I got hooked on that and we started playing with a couple of different things and we just kind of kept coming back to something that Stu had done in the beginning. And I was like, dude, it's pretty rad. Like I kept trying to make changes and do crazy things with it, and it just didn't really need that much changes. We made a couple little tweaks, but it was pretty magic. And Stu left one in the office for the Firewire guys to try, and they all wrote it and were like, "Hey, what the heck is this?" So kind of all got together and we were just like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's see." And it's such a new. It's not even a new idea. It's just it hasn't been around lately. Um, I feel like it kind of dropped off the face of surfing for a while, and then it's seeing a resurgence now. And I just think there's really something to that fin setup. And when you put it on a mid length, it really gives it a cool feel of like a skatey mid length, but still having the drive that you want in a bigger board.
Yeah. So does the board actually feel a little shorter than what it actually is, or what the length is?
Yeah, way shorter. I'd say 4 to 6 inches shorter.
Wow.
Once you're under your feet, paddling wise, you feel that length, like you were talking about earlier. You can feel the volume in it. But as soon as you stand up and you get your foot on the back, it has that 20 sort of pivot and skate feel. So it feels
Yeah.
way shorter. Like the 7.0 to me feels more like a 6.6 or something. Like,
Yeah.
and that's probably why I've gravitated towards the 7.0 as opposed to the 6.8. It just that 7.0 paddles like a dream for me. But then hop up, get to my feet, and I'm like, oh, this thing's just a skatey little rocket ship.
Yeah. So have you mostly rode it on junk days or mostly really good days?
I've ridden it in everything. Like I've had them in California for this whole last season. Obviously, there wasn't a whole lot of really big swell in California this year. A lot of clean conditions, but smaller days. So I've ridden it a ton in that. It works great. I've ridden it in complete onshore crap, and it felt fantastic. And then I took it out in some bigger surf, and we did get that one big eddy swell that came through. And I was really curious to see like, is it going to handle some serious winter punch? And I was super surprised that a twin fin with that little twinser setup can actually handle pretty much, anything that I got myself into. It wasn't a problem. It still had that drive and hold. So it kind of works in everything. It's super versatile. I just, yeah, I can't fault it.
And at your height, at 6'2" and 210 pounds, you'll be able to dip that thing.
Oh, I can dip it, no problem. I can dip the 7.4. I mean, I dip my 9.8 longboard, so
So,
I might have a little advantage on the duck dive side of things, but yeah.
so has anybody asked you, how do you dip your longboard? Have you ever gave them some advice?
A lot of people ask, and it's just kind of a weird thing. You got to go one rail at a time. You kind of go sideways, put all your pressure on one side, and go in sideways instead of going in forward like you would on a
Yeah.
shortboard. And it works, but yeah, you got to time it right. Otherwise, you come up at the wrong time and you get rolled, or you don't
Yeah.
get under at the right time, you get rolled. Like look, you get rolled a lot trying to duck dive longboards in bigger surf. It just it happens, but like I find it still better than trying to like do the turtle thing and then you get whipped up and yeah, I've never had any success with that stuff, so I just stick to trying to dip.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, because I see even some women that they're dipping some boards that are pretty big. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all technique. If you get the rails under at a sideways angle, it goes in pretty easy because they're more foiled rails. You can
Yeah.
dip it and long as you get that nose down, the wave will kind of wash over you anyways.
Yeah.
You just don't want to be coming up at the wrong time.
Yeah, yeah. So that board, so it has the Twinsers. So, and you use the same, right now they only have one size fin. Did you use it on that fin size, or is it something
Yeah,
bigger?
that's the only fins I've ever like the Twinsers. There's not a lot of fins out there, right? So
Yeah.
I just went with whatever was handed to me, and yeah, it worked fine. It
And don't
feels
slide
sweet.
out.
I don't feel like I need a bigger or a smaller. It just feels right. I don't know. There's always something to a shaper or a designer and the fins that they design the board with that it's a great match and it works really well. So I just roll with whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
Keep it
cool.
easy.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so on bigger days when you're coming off the bottom, did you have to baby it off the bottom or can you push on it?
No, you can push, which I was really surprised. But also, I notice on the mid links, I tend to move my back foot like forward and back. So on the bottom turn, I'll have my foot a little further forward and be more almost like mid board,
Uh-huh.
engage that rail and push on it. And then as you come up to do the turn, you drop the foot back. And it's kind of like in the 80s, guys surfed like that, like Tom Curran and stuff. If you watch his footwork on his bottom turns to top turns, there's a lot of movement of foot forward, foot back, even if it's only 6 inches. But if you move that fin up just in front of or that foot just in front of the fins, you can push really hard and you'll get that engagement and that drive. And then when you come up into the lip and into the pocket, you can drop that foot back further and just crank on it and it'll pivot and swipe right in the pocket. So it's a little bit of play, a little bit of like up and back movement of the foot and a little bit of lateral movement, but not too much, but mostly just up and back and kind of drive from the middle and then step back on the tail and drive from the middle again. Just playing with that trim line and that sweet spot.
Wow. Huh. So when you're pumping down the line, are you really just in kind of towards the middle and just pump in, or you're trying to put your foot back a little further?
Yeah, I'm a little bit further than where I would be when I'm going to do my turn, like six
Uh-huh.
inches or something on my back foot. My
Yeah.
front foot stays pretty much where it is.
Uh-huh.
So my stance will narrow up a little bit when I'm driving down the line, and then I'll just drop that foot back when I want to do the turn.
Oh. So you're surfing it like a shortboard, not like a high performance longboard.
Yeah, more like a shortboard. It feels more like a shortboard. Like it's
Yeah.
got that fast, skatey feel to me that feels like a shortboard. So yeah, I'm pretty much just riding it like a shortboard. My feet don't move
Yeah.
too much. You can, like I can cross step on the 7.0 and you could nose ride the 7.0 and like you can, but it feels better to just kind of move that back foot and kind of keep that front foot in the same spot.
Yeah. Oh man, right on. Has
Yeah.
anybody so the people that have hit you up, what kind of questions are you getting mostly?
A lot of people are just super curious about the Twinser setup and what that feels like. And
Hmm.
like, does it wash? Does it have a twin fin feel? Does it have a thruster feel, quad feel? Like, it's such a, it's such a different fin setup that there's not a ton of out there in the market that I think people are just curious about how does it feel?
Yeah.
And to me, it really feels like a twin fin skate and play, but then it has like the drive of what a quad would have. So
Oh.
it's really like those two boards sandwiched into one. You get
Oh,
the drive and the speed of a quad, but you have that skate and sort of pivot of a twin fin.
yeah. So in the beginning, it got cut out. You said there you tell them that, or people ask you if you get washed out when you're turning or something. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, people ask just with that fin setup, does it feel like a twin fin where it kind of washes and chirps out on bottom turns,
Yeah.
or it has like a little bit too loose?
Yeah.
And to me, it's like it's that combo of it's got that twin fin skate and play, where it's that loose feeling, but
Uh-huh.
you have more of a quad fins drive and hold. So you've got that speed and that drive on rail to really get going down the line and hold through turns, but you have that pivot and play of a twin fin, which that combo together makes it super fun because it feels like a little twin fin in crappy waves where you can just kind of ping pong your way down the line and skate
Uh,
across sections and really play with it. But when you get in bigger waves, you can just drive through turns and set rails, and it's such a nice balance of both that it's super efficient. It's like a really efficient fin setup.
wow. Interesting, man. Yeah, I've only
Yeah.
rode it once, and that board, yeah, it did feel big when I first paddled. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to have
And you're
fun.
like, oh. Yeah, it feels you can feel the volume because it's all under your chest, but the
Yeah.
rails are still pretty foiled down. So when you want to knife it, it knifes. Like it doesn't have a problem setting an edge, which is really cool. And
Yeah.
having paddle power for me, I love it. I'm used to longboards, so I like that easy glide and sit out past everybody and chip into waves that people can't catch. And yeah,
Yeah.
keeps it fun.
Right on. Whee!
Yeah,
Stoked, man. Yeah, I did
yeah.
I interviewed Stu about the board too. So
Cool.
yeah, he dropped a lot of knowledge on us, and
Oh, he's got so much. It's crazy. Like for how long he's been making these boards and he's been like the guy,
yeah,
really, and especially in San Diego behind it. It's pretty cool to like I got to sit in the bay with him over a bunch of different boards and just like trip out on like the things he's made to make these boards and like different, different tools he's created because of these boards and stuff. It's just really interesting to me to like watch a master craftsman shape their craft that they've been dedicated to for decades.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Right on.
Phew. Right
All
on,
right.
Dave.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Anytime.